All right, welcome to the Songcast.com presentation on Breaky CPK. Going to be your shoutcasting host, and joining me is Toby Wankanobi, a community shoutcaster. This is the DYA Invitational 8-team tournament here in Singapore, Malaysia. I'm finally excited to get this kicked off. How about you, Toby?
I am very excited. We have been waiting here just a little bit to actually get already getting out the kinks, but we are here to get some awesome action. Of course, this is a one group bracket. All the other players, they're playing their hearts out now down in the pit. You guys have been watching them already, but this is, we got the best show match for you. It is Online Kingdom going up against the Evil Geniuses.
I mean, you talk about the star matchup to get the tournament kicked off. Like you said, Evil Geniuses versus Online Kingdom, arguably, number one in 3 teams in the world. I mean, maybe number one, depending on who you're talking to in Europe for Online Kingdom. We got a hell of a matchup to get it kicked off, so it's going to be a lot of fun, of course. Like you said, there's 2 groups. We're doing a round-robin stage to get things kicked off here. 4 teams in each group, and that's the other thing. We got what we like to call a group of death here. I'm actually going to go into the game right here. Okay, there we go. So we got a group of death. Group 1 actually consists of Evil Geniuses, Online Kingdom, and also TSOG and ICE. So you talk about some tough competition there. There's only 8 teams total. A lot of, every team obviously a great team, but that's a tough bracket right there.
It is an amazing bracket, and it's like only 2 of those teams can go through, and then of course you jump into the other bracket, and you've got China, Singapore, Malaysia, and the PMS Asterisk girls out there as well. Only 2 teams can get through from this one, so 2 from either bracket. They come and meet in the semis tomorrow, but today we get to go through the group stages, and of course, let's get ourselves into it. They're already on the bands.
Yeah, as far as the bands are concerned, we have 5 bands out of the way, so Online Kingdom now going to go for their 6th, or their third personal and final band overall. As far as the bands are concerned, we're looking at Bubbles, Thunderbringer, Dr. Repulsor, Tundra, Pharaoh, and now, of course, again, waiting on the last hero here. Yeah, as far as those bands are concerned, I mean, fairly typical, to be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting to actually see Bubbles going in there as well. We did have the practice sessions last night. We all went to the Coliseum, and we had a couple of games, and Bubbles, I think, actually appeared in 3 of those games quite well, in fact, and also another big one to throw into it as well. Tempest has been a big pick, even just in the practice sessions and of late too, Breaky.
Yeah, we definitely got an idea, like you said, of we got to watch a lot of the teams practice. Some of the teams, including EG, actually, they did come in late last night, so I don't think they got much time, if any, to actually practice to get necessarily ready for this. But like you said, we did get to watch a lot of the teams. We got some interesting strategies out there, some very unique heroes. That was more side on the Southeast Asian section, though, which actually does consist, obviously, majority of the second stage. As far as the first stage, to be honest, we watch these teams all the time. We're expecting the norm, but we'll see. Someone may throw us a curveball.
Yeah, they definitely will, because that's the cool thing about LAN events. You ever come here, there's always some weird strat you've never ever seen before, and it'll continue to go on throughout. So let's see what these guys have got. It's the first time you get to see it. If you want to come and see it, jump yourself down the front. There are a couple of seats here. Obviously, they're white, so they do stand out.
Yeah, feel free to sit down, guys. And we got a lot of open seats up here, so definitely take your seat and sit back. As again, this is going to be a hell of a match. I can guarantee that easily. Arguably number 1, 2 teams in the world, even. So this is going to be awesome. Yeah. Again, each team will play each other once in the first group, and then after that, the top 2 teams from each bracket make it on to the semifinals, which will take place tomorrow. So a lot is on the line for eventually that $20,000 prize pool here at the DYA event.
Yeah, that is a very, very big prize for all these teams to actually be playing out for. We should also just comment at the moment, the players can actually hear us, so for everyone out there at home listening in, everyone out there in the audience as well, we're not actually strat calling, so we only call what both teams actually know, just so no team gets an advantage.
Yeah, so definitely expect a little bit different pace of a cast, of course, because again, they can't hear us, and so obviously we can't sit here giving away some strategies and whatnot. And with that said as well, they can hear this in-game sound, so we're going to have to try our best to kind of keep the camera away from, obvious things that probably we shouldn't, as long as we can get the sound. But with that said, we actually have the first pick out of the way. The last band, by the way, happened to be Soul Stealer by Online Kingdom. As far as the first pick goes, we are looking at Pebbles, picked up by Evil Geniuses here. That is an awesome pick to get things started off. I know I am excited. Pebbles, easily one of the most entertaining heroes in the game. Very, very fun to watch, especially in the hands of Chu. He is shown to be very dominant with that style of hero. So
Pebbles is just that fantastic burst damage. Like you watch him just blink himself in. So look for that port key on him nice and early, and he can initiate and kill you before you even know what the hell actually happened. So I'm really interested to see how he actually plays. I want to see a hero like Tundra or something like that. Give him a bit of vision to actually work with, or throw in Tempest, use him around a bit. We did actually see it before with Pebbles being basically a great initiator, and then Tempest coming right on top of it, and that ulti, just everyone came in to help, everyone got caught, And, well, we all had nightmares last night.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about a lot of burst damage coming out of nowhere and just that chain CC, crowd control. He's afraid CC a lot, obviously, but the crowd control on all the heroes, if you can land it correctly, can do a lot of damage. But like you said as well, he's a great roaming hero early on, very good early to mid-game hero. He can definitely take over games. We do not usually see him picked up right away. With that said, he's not usually a first pick, but here for EG, you know, they want to get it out of the way. They want to make sure they have Pebbles, knowing that they're going to play aggressive, as they always do. As far as the other picks, by the way, we still got EG. In fact, they went down to the very wire before they finished their next couple of picks. They actually followed up with Flint Beastwood and Witchslayer. Flint Beastwood, obviously a carry-style hero. Yep. We have seen him in Tri-Lands. We've seen him solo. In this case, though, you would expect maybe Pebbles to solo mid, but of course we have to wait for the whole line to be finished. But very powerful heroes indeed there.
Yeah, he is, of course. If you are a big Dota fans that are all throughout Singapore here, there's a bit of translation as well. Flint Beastwood is actually the sniper port from Dota as well. Witchslayer's come in as well. Lion port from that one. He's a great support hero as well. I do love always watching Witchslayer out in the field with his ability to stun, hex, as well as able to get that massive burst damage. And that's going to be something to really couple on the back of Pebbles as well. If there's a hero, you can bring him down. It's really hard to do. They can focus fire him down and then focus on everybody else in the team. If you have one of those heroes that gets completely out of control. I do like the fact that Online Kingdom to start with Hellbringer and with Magnus, they've got that great AoE already in their lineup, just from two heroes, through the Eruption, through Hellbringer's ulti, which will hold everyone in place as long as they possibly want. And they still leave it open as well. Like Hellbringer as well as Magnus, they can play pure support, they can play a little bit mid, and they've now left their other three options very open, making EG having to pick, and then they can get the good counters.
Both teams taking a long time here to finish up the next couple of picks. Again, a lot is on the line. This is arguably the biggest match of the group stages, and again, only two of these teams are going to make it on to the next round, to the semifinals. So this is a very big game here. Forsaken Archer and Bombardier, the next couple of picks right there. Bombardier, he's been a hero. When he first came out, we didn't see too much of him. He started to get played by a couple of players, and all of a sudden, he's been exploding onto the scene, literally. Anyways, no, but Bombardier, though, he is just such a fun hero to watch. He's a great solo hero. We've also seen him in tri-lane strategies as the go-to hero for carries in terms of harassment tri-lane strategies. Forsaken Archer on top of that as well can very well. We have tended to see her more so in tri-lane strategies herself lately, rather than a solo or a 2-on-2. So we'll see how that goes. Very good pickups there, and again, another aggressive hero on Bombardier.
Yeah, he definitely is. I do always love the Forsaken Archer actually playing. She is one of my favorite heroes in Hon, just for her ability to actually gank and get that DPS out as we actually get our last two picks come through. That's a big pickup to actually get. You've got two of the best support heroes in this game through Witchslayer and Behemoth. Behemoth, he's fantastic in a tri-lane. Even if he wants to roam, it was an old classic lane to actually have a Behemoth and a Witchslayer going on a roam, allow the other three to solo, and they can do it with this too. You got Pebbles, more than likely you probably see a tri-lane coming out of all of this, and then allow Valk and Flint Beastwood to have a bit more fun on the side. But you jump yourself over to Online Kingdom as well. They got a pretty decent lineup as well. They got good roamers. You can have roamers through Magnus. He's a great one to do that with, and they still have one more pick to go.
Roamers, ever since the tri-lane strategy especially came into play, we haven't seen every other strategy, frankly, including roaming strategies, definitely became non-existent. Yeah. Lately, though, we've been seeing more of a trend of a lot of the teams getting more involved in back to the old-school strategies. And like you said, even roaming-style strategies. Magnus definitely fits into that role. Chipper, the last pick, by the way, by Online Kingdom. So another very solid pick there. Now, the interesting thing is, obviously, as you said with EG, again, their lineup is pretty set in terms of the lanes on top of that. They finished off with a great solo long lane hero in Valkyrie, great getaway ability, obviously, with their leap. And then, of course, they got a Behemoth, like you were talking about. Excellent support hero, does a lot, and he has that long-range stun to go with Flint Beastwood as the carry in that tri-lane strategy. Now, that final pick of Chipper over there from Online Kingdom, little bit, I'm curious now how Online Kingdom is going to decide to run this lineup.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird things. Like, how are you going to put these lanes out? Are they going to be aggressive? We've seen it many times before with quad lanes and things like that going up. How we're actually going to go with this, we're going to find out. We're loading into it. Now, first match of DYA on the main stage. We'll get ourselves underway. Online Kingdom going up against the Evil Geniuses.
Let's make some noise out there. If you're rooting for EG to win this game, make some noise out there. Yeah!
Obviously, no one's going for EG. Yes!
All right, and Online Kingdom, anyone else? Yeah, okay, yeah, Online Kingdom, all right. Okay, so let's get this match finally kicked off. Like you said, we are now in the game, and again, the curious thing now I'm going to watch out for, as usually always, going to the starting of the game, is how they are going to lane. Again, as far as EG is concerned, we have a pretty good idea, and I'm sure with that said, Online Kingdom does as well. But now, Online Kingdom, they could run the tri-lane strategy themselves with a Hellbringer in it, something like a Hellbringer, Forsaken Archer, Magnus. Not a big fan, I stress this a lot, I'm not a big fan of seeing Hellbringer personally in a tri-lane strategy because of the lack of levels. I definitely think he's a hero that can benefit vastly from those levels. But at the same time, he is a very good harassment hero, great babysitter, but it looks like they're going to, in fact, run Bombardier as part of the tri-lane and actually do Hellbringer in the solo.
Yeah, we will actually see them two coming out. Looks like we've got a bit of a zoomed-in screen coming out from one of the boys here, so they just have to check that one up.
All right. So used to it. All right.
That we definitely are. So we will see the players. They will move themselves out here. So we're just going to wait for a couple of technical issues. Just going to make sure everything's actually working. Obviously, you get a bit of a zoom in on the screen. We've also got to make sure our sound settings are all right.
Yeah, some technical issues here. That's always fun. Again, this is obviously the first match in a LAN event like this. It's, it happens a lot of the time, especially so. But again, while we're actually in this pause real quickly, this is going to give us some time to real quickly, again, go over the format of this event. So right now, it's a round-robin stage, 2 groups, 4 teams in each. Again, Group 1, what we're considering the group of death. By the way, I want to reiterate, when we're going, as far as these groups are concerned, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you just put the U.S. and European teams in one and Southeast Asian in the other. No, that wasn't the case. I guarantee you, we put the names in a bottle and we pulled them out of it, and this is just how it happened to work out.
Yeah.
I even have it on video. I guarantee that's how we did it. So.
So we can post that one up later for everyone to actually view. But it was very, very weird how it actually worked out. But it's going to work out a lot better in the end as well. It's literally the best of Asia can go up against the best of Euro America, and then they all go into the semi-finals. So we do get a good mix between all the teams coming in towards the semi-finals, which, of course, if you will be here tomorrow, we'll kick off at a nice and early 8 a.m.
8 a.m. for us over here. It's, like you said, the semifinals takes place. I believe they'll be simultaneously best of the 3 series for those, and then the finals also a best of the 3 series, of course. Again, as far as the split goes, like I said, $20,000 prize pool here for the DYA event invitational. First place is $10,000. Second place is $4,000. And, of course, third through 8th place, every team actually gets at least $1,000. We have actually remade the game, as you can see. So, we'll get that figured out and see what that's about. But anyway, so yeah, that's a lot of money on the line for really just what you could consider a 2-day event. But you talk about top-tier competition. Again, coming into this, we actually had a couple of teams, including ICE. They kind of had the decision whether or not to go to DreamHack or this event. There's a good amount of money on the line here, and there's a lot of competition, solid competition here in Singapore. Chose to come to this, and we got, arguably, 6 and 7 of the best teams in the world right now here. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a fantastic competition. Like these guys, the greatest thing about this is they've been going around the World Expo as part of the Digital Youth Awards, sharing that culture out there, and these guys have really got to know each other, not only just as basically players, which you always get on the online side of things, but really as people as well. They all come in, they all get nice and close, and really, all these guys will be quite happy after tonight. Even if they win, even if they lose, they'll all go have a couple of drinks with them, and really, it's good times.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking to a lot of the players. Obviously, did a lot of interviews, not on video or anything, but just talking to them, casual conversation, and that seemed to be the consensus. Everyone knows, like I said, at least they're guaranteed $1,000. Obviously, the goal is going to be to win the tournament for all these teams. But when it comes down to it, it's about getting at least that money and then having a lot of fun. They're in Singapore, a great city. I've only been here a day, but I can tell it's just an awesome city to be in, and I've already experienced quite a bit myself, and I'm sure they're going to have a lot of fun with that. As I'm sure we're going to join them as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone.
That definitely will be. The match is up again, so we'll join us into this one. Bit of a quick remake to see what actually went wrong with it, and hopefully we won't have any issues this time around, Breaky.
Like I said, it's a LAN event. I mean, especially for the first match, stuff happens. So.
Nothing ever goes according to plan at a LAN event. If that happened, then it wouldn't be a LAN.
In fact, setting up our equipment and everything, we definitely had some issues, which, again, you got to expect that going into it. Stuff happens, so what can you do? As long as, it finally gets played out and we have some fun. We have this venue, honestly, we have it for quite a while today, so If we need to, we're here at least till 11 p.m. So I don't think
we'll
need to be here.
It's not late. Come on. TSOG to get through their final stages as well. What we played till like 3 a.m. at the DreamHack Festival back on the summer one.
That's so true. Yeah, the DreamHack event.
It's a good time. We're just going to wait for our last player to actually join. I think it's Black to actually rejoin up. He was actually the only player as well. He was the one having the issues. He's now in the game, so the players can hit the start button whenever they are ready to go, and hopefully we can actually see for the first time.
Yes.
The match.
Hopefully.
Well, second time the match.
Second time, yeah.
Take two.
Loading into it. Again, real quickly, in terms of, of course, they're going to all pick, so they're going to pick the heroes. While they're doing that, TSOG and ICE, they're actually playing right now. Like you said, all the other teams playing on the floor. They're playing right now. We got Impunity taking on Kung Fu. That's a Singapore team versus the Chinese team. And then, of course, XTU, the Malaysian team, going up against PMS Girls, the Singapore lady team, that got invited to this event as well.
Yeah, I think one of their players wants to actually retire if they lose to PMS Asterisk, so we might be losing a man from our scene because I don't think the Asterisk Girls is that much of a pushover.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but anyway, let's get ourselves into this game because AP mode does go off, so the heroes will move themselves out into the lanes. Just a quick reminder as well, you can see it up on the main screen up on the stage, but we will not be strat calling for this one, so what both teams know, that's what we talk about as the players can actually hear us.
Yeah, again, and being in a LAN environment like this, it's something that, since they can hear us, obviously, it's going to be a little bit different pace a cast, like I said, so just keep that in mind when we're going through it, and that they can, in fact, hear us. So, again, the laning phase, it's going to be curious to see how both teams, well, really more so the Hellborn side and Online Kingdom, of course, going to be interesting to see how they decide to lane it, but like we said for EG, it's what we're guessing to be, a fairly standard, but again, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
It is also good. Let's have a quick run-through of who's actually playing what as well. We'll actually have Magic playing as our Forsaken Archer for this evening. Overpower will be our Bombardier. Hellbringer will be in the hands of Aki. I know I'm getting his name wrong, but yeah, he can live with it. Semi-Jew will be playing as Magnus for this evening, and Black will be rolling it up as the last player for Chipper.
There we go. As far as EG is concerned, Evil Geniuses, we got EG B-Kid over there playing Behemoth. We got Chu, the one, the only Chu playing Pebbles. We got Valkyrie being played by Sebuska. Fuji Apples on Witch Slayer, and Dodo on Flint Beast. Where we do have action here at the bottom lane. Bombardier in a lot of trouble already. The Flint block not blocking him all the way. Infected is blocking him all the way, and Bombardier's going to go down. Bloodlust kill for EG. Now Magman's in a lot of trouble. Tried to Lava Surge in to save his teammate. Not going to happen. Ooh. The stun comes out. The auto attack damage, and down goes Semi-Jew as well. 2-0. Legion team starts it off.
Yeah, they definitely do. That was a great engagement as well. Just caught one player out. The Witch Slayer stun just started it all off. Magnus, he was a little bit hopeful to actually surge himself into the end of that one and thought he might actually get away with it. But in the end, he found himself between four heroes. The quad on the bottom, and, it spelt 2-0 and first blood.
Yeah, speaking of Magnus, by the way, you were talking about that earlier as well. His ultimate, very powerful tool for this team fights. I got Hellbringer and Magnus. Great synergy right there. But his Lava Surge is also definitely what makes that hero. Again, you saw he attempted to use it right there, just unfortunately.
We're going again. Forsaken Archers actually managed to find Witch Slayer as well as Behemoth, running themselves around the trees. Thought they might have actually tried to go for some sort of engagement and get some revenge, but it appears they're just testing the water with their toes.
Yeah, obviously early on, again, with the tri-lane being ran here from the Hellborn team that we can see, going up against this Legion side, they're definitely going to poke in and out. The jungle is definitely something to be worried about. As always, you got to have always vision of that, knowing that someone could come out of there, set up that gank, and so that's obviously what Online Kingdom is doing for right now. Now, talk about lanes. Again, really curious to see how they're going to do it, but how about this? Chu right now currently at the bottom lane on Pebbles, and Flint Beastwood is actually soloing mid for the time being here against Chipper, so it makes you wonder, was Online Kingdom ready for that? I mean, I'm sure they could have been ready for anything, but definitely a little bit out of the norm here in terms of the strategy for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, it's to actually run that solo. Like Chipper himself, he's good against Flint Beastwood. I think Flint Beastwood has a higher base damage to start with, I do believe, too. So last hitting for him is all about it. But with these guys, it's all about the timing as well. This bottom lane is just waiting to go off. Off we go. One Fiji goes off. It's actually managed to lock Bombardier in place. In comes a crippling volley from the Forsaken Archer, trying to slow them all down here. But Bombardier will die before anything else can actually happen. Witch Slayer trying to get a little bit higher up there in Forsaken Archer. Stun will almost be off cooldown now. Magnus comes through with a surge, slows him down as well. 1 second left on the stun. Great fissure. There comes the stun from Witch Slayer. It's not enough though. Forsaken Archer still alive. Tried to go for the crippling volley, but it was enough. And there goes another 2 heroes down, making it 4-0 in favor here of VG.
B-Kid, arguably known as one of the best Behemoth players in the world. He is showing why right now here today at this LAN event. His fissure stuns are off the wall. And part of the tri-lane strategy, obviously, he's doing such a great job of not only splitting them up, but blocking the hero that, like we saw on the Bombardier right there. He had nowhere to go. He just had to run in a straight line. He tried to go through the jungle. He just could not go anywhere, though. And just like that, we're already looking at a 4-0 hero kill advantage in favor of EG. Now, I also want to reiterate as well, obviously, since there is a chance of a 3-way tie here with this group stage and round robin, the tiebreaker has been decided that it's going to be average hero kills per minute, you know, kind of promoting more aggressive play in these games. So with that said, EG obviously off to a very fast start here, and, you know, if it so happens that they get involved in a tie, they'll definitely be looking good as a result of that.
Yeah, and they are definitely going to look good for this one. Of course, this is only early game. We're 2 minutes and 54 seconds into this game so far, which is no time whatsoever here in a Hon match. So there's a lot of time to come back. Online Kingdom, they've got to try and rally themselves here. Obviously, you're 4 down. The tri-lane's not working. The tri-lane always struggles anyway, especially because the fact you have to split the XP between 3 different heroes. They're going to have to rely a lot more on their carries. We'll check their CS scores in a moment as well, just to make sure everything's going nice for them. But it will be a lot of timing, and when those carries decide to move out of their lanes, we're going to be ready for that too.
Yeah, again, like you're talking about the tri-lane strategies, that is the one downside, or, you know, there's obviously a couple of other downsides, but the big downside is the whole experience gain, and they definitely have to split it up. With that said, you know, the tri-lane, they like to run it. A lot of teams like to run in the short lane, obviously, because they can do all the creep pulling. You know, they can get the lane pushed back, as well as spreading each other out to spread out that experience. Now, with that said, Online Kingdom, of course, their tri-lane is indeed part of the long lane, so they cannot take advantage of those pulls. They're instead having to worry. And as Bombardier, by the way, getting caught here by Graveyard Stun. Oh, no follow-up though. At least just yet, so he's going to be fine for now. But Bombardier, obviously, a fairly squishy hero, no doubt, and the EG has taken advantage of that so far early on in this game, of course.
I like that. Even just that standard stun had them worried. You instantly just saw the Look tried to go out to the side. Where we're getting ganked from the side. Where is that Behemoth? That's why Behemoth is just one of those. He's one of the best support picks you can ever get whenever you're in a tri-lane, because he just lock you in place, and you got those other 2 heroes right there to do the damage, deal it off, and get those kills. But now it's going to be a little bit nicer, a bit of time to breathe here for the Online Kingdom tri-lane, because now they can actually tower hug it off a little bit further, which is a lot nicer. Because we are actually missing a hero from top lane. Hellbringer's having a great old free farm at the moment, because rune control is also something we really haven't seen just yet. We did see Flint Beastwood with the DD rune from the 2-minute spawn, but now obviously you've got to keep your eyes open for when it's going to come.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, we saw right there as well, Valkyrie attempted to launch an arrow into the middle lane, but Chipper just barely dodged it as it hit a creep. So thankfully for him, that would have been a 5-second stun, and more than likely would have been going down as well. So very good dodge right there, and just a missed arrow by Sebuska. Sebuska, again, a very solid player, of course, and Sebuska definitely one of those players I've said in the past I consider very, very good, you know, rising style players, what the term that's used, but meaning he's a very good farming player, and I'm sure he's doing just fine on that Valkyrie up there.
Oh, crippling volley does manage to catch the Behemoth there on the bottom. No more initiation from the other teams. Bar which they coming up with the Graveyard Stun. Great fissure again. It's all going in the back to Forsaken Archer, though. Can't lock anyone in. It is, however, locking Bombardier as well as Magmus out of that one for the fun time. And now the bottom lane getting pushed still. 2 heroes in the lane at the moment. Bombardier as well as Forsaken Archer. Ready to go. Magmus goes for the stun, but the Hellbringer ulti comes on down. Malphus is on the field. Behemoth locked again in, but they're getting stunned from behind. Bombardier's being caught out of it, but Behemoth was their main target. Down it comes from the skies, but they claim 1 hero kill for that one. And, well, was that really worth it, especially considering they just lost Magic?
Yeah, in the end, you know, it really wasn't. Like you said, it's a 1-for-1 exchange, but Forsaken Archer going down, definitely not what Online Kingdom had in mind, despite that Malphus ultimate right there. Very good attempt, but just not going to follow through. We see Chipper in the meantime taking some action in the middle lane. He falls back, though, going to be fine for now. We see also Forsaken Archer coming there for the assistance after just resurrecting. Dodo, by the way, he is having, of course, honestly, not that great of a creep farm. Obviously, with that 1 hero kill, definitely working off of that in terms of his gold farm, but his creep farm definitely not up there. Magmus, by the way, at the bottom line, looks like he took some pressure between the double stun of Witchslayer and Pebbles, but not enough. So, again, going back to the whole experience thing that we were talking about earlier with this tri-lane, so Pebbles, as being part of the tri-lane, obviously, they're going to focus on him getting the farm, but with that said, you know, lack of levels on a hero like Pebbles, you like to see him get 8 as soon as possible, 9 more likely, so he gets that ultimate on top of his double, very powerful double combination. But in this case, they're going to work on getting Chu that very early portal key, and we'll see if that is the case.
Yeah, he is just one of those heroes. You're exactly right. You want to see that Chuck. You want to see those Circle Mites really come out nice and fast, because if you can get that burst damage, you can just claim so many more kills. 5-1 is nothing when he hits level 8. It just goes up and up and up, and the more kills he gets, the more items he gets, the more powerful he gets. And yeah, they are having to split it off a little bit. And you can also see Behemoth using a hell of a lot of mana up here on the bottom lane. He is running pretty low at the moment. He does have that Blood Chalice already completed as well. That's just that's awesome for 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's a very, especially on a hero like that, obviously, that you don't expect to get a lot of farm on, especially being in the tri-lane. But yeah, he's obviously been involved in already 4 assists in this game, including a hero kill himself. And, you know, that's the great thing about a Blood Chalice, especially on a hero like Behemoth. His range done very powerful, you know, for being that range, but it also allows him to, he can spam it in sense of harassment like we saw there on Magnus, and then use the Blood Chalice, you know, it loses a little bit of life, sure, but he gets that reach.
Looks like we're going to have a bit of a crack here at top, as there goes this first stun, as well as the second came through for Valk with the arrow. The chickens come off as well, all the miniaturization, and Hellbringer goes down there on top, and looks like we actually saw a gank there on EG on the bottom lane with Dodo going down as well.
That's the middle lane right there with Flint Beastwood. Yeah, he actually got taken out by Chipper using his ultimate to do so. So yeah, well played on his part, and Online Kingdom at least saw some signs of life right there. But no doubt right now EG has the early momentum on in this game. But again, what it's really going to come down to is that Pebbles. Obviously in a tri-lane, when you have a hero that's going to be, they really want to get that farm out, that's going to be a focus of the game. And right now, Chew on Pebbles is definitely the focus, not only because of that situation, but again, Pebbles is a hero, especially in an early game. If he doesn't start to take off, you know, he just always stays behind and he can never really recover. So kind of like a snowball effect, you want him to take off and just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden just become too powerful. But again, we're going to have to wait and see as in terms of when he can get that portal key and how it's going to happen. 5-second arrow sound on Chipper, by the way. He's in a lot of trouble. The flare coming out from Flint Beastwood. It looks like they were too far away, however. Money shot, will it be enough? No, yes, it will. The auto attack as well from Valkyrie.
What a leap!
That kill. Going to leap away as well. The sticky bomb on him, though. Is it going to be enough damage itself? The dot also on him from Hellbringer. Malphus is out. I believe, yes, a sticky bomb explosion will pick up that kill. And in fact, a smackdown right there for Bombardier on top of that. So well played, at least from Online Kingdom in terms of reacting. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, it looks like Magix once again gets taken out. So good news turns into bad news for Online Kingdom.
Yeah, it does. Like it was looking good for them, and it was almost actually looking very, very good with Chipper actually throwing it out, and thought he could actually take it from the high ground. But that Valk arrow, it is such a great initiator, but it's very, very hard to get that long range. You get it so long, you get that 5-second stun, but it's a very, very hard thing to actually hit. You really got to have that gaming knowledge and that experience of Hon.
Oh, yeah, you definitely do. And like I was saying earlier, Sabuska definitely a player like that. Really, everyone here, every player here, it's hard to argue that they're not on that level because they are here for a reason, obviously, whether it's in terms of invitation or in terms of actually winning an event to get here. And, in fact, both of these teams actually are part of that whole winning an event to get here. So, again, we see a little bit of harassment in the middle lane. Malphus actually pushing up a little bit all the way before he goes down, but eventually taken out, of course. A fissure block down here at the bottom lane from Behemoth, but not hitting anyone. So, but, again, just spamming it, that's what you can do when you have a Blood Chalice like that. You can spam that fissure and not be too worried about wasting mana, of course.
Yeah, that is also the thing, because you never want to have Behemoth caught out with low mana. Like, if one fissure and you're like maybe 5 mana short of it, you're going to be kicking yourself all night if that was like the winning kill. If you got that fissure down, you lock him in place and everything could have gone right. But he has all that mana up for him right now. Forsaken Archer coming down. Pebbles goes for the toss. We actually have Magnus come through. Great fissure comes in from the side. Toss goes up there. Magnus being all held in place, but what a massive ulti there from Behemoth. Right place, right time, and well, everyone dies.
Yeah, obviously doesn't even have a War Stars in Rage yet. It's not usually typical to see in Rage at this point, but he had the ultimate, of course. Just walked right on top, and then followed up with the Enrage. A good amount of creeps around as well. Ultimately setting up that kill on both of those heroes. So a double tap kill right there for B-Kid. Right now, Evil Geniuses a 10-3 hero kill advantage coming up to the 11-minute mark here. Again, I focused a lot on Pebbles, but obviously another big factor for them is going to be this Flint Beastwood being played by Dodo, who's having not too great of a time like I was talking about earlier in terms of creep farm. I mean, he's doing okay, but in terms of actually he is being a little bit out farmed by this Chipper. But right now, you know, you see him finishing his Soul Screamer right there, so getting a little bit of stats. And in the meantime, just more, you know, kind of miscellaneous action going on all over the place. A little bit of slow pace right now here, but overall, this game has definitely been fast paced for the most part. Yeah,
it really has. Like 10-3, a kill a minute is generally a pretty good rate when you actually go at Hon. And well, it's definitely going that just a little bit above it at the moment. But now the Pebbles is starting to get himself up even further. Things are going to get a lot harder, especially for the fact Pebbles got that extra little bit of speed. I do love it because the Striders did get morphed in a couple of later patches, I do believe, but yes. These are actually 2 patches to go, these Striders.
They are, but in fact, I believe this patch they were talking about that. It's actually, we do have initiation on him. Pebbles was coming in, trying to set up a stun. He gets a stun off with a Bombardier ultimate as well as the bombardment. Gets the kill. Witchslayer, though, in the meantime, picks off Magix yet again, using his Silver Bullet ultimate to do so. Magnus and Bombardier thinking about going in right here, but Witchslayer too far away. And of course, Behemoth full life. Not much they're going to do against him. So again, a good thing turns into a bad thing for Online Kingdom. Whenever they get a positive sign, it just seems to turn around on them, just like right there. And Magix on Forsaken Archer, he is not having a good game whatsoever. Creep free farm is okay.
Oh, Malthus ulti's up. Behemoth, the surge goes straight through. Bombs rain from the sky. Behemoth goes down. The tower can now be pushed there. And for the first time, I think we've actually seen Online Kingdom get a kill with no comeuppance. I speak too soon. I speak way too soon.
There we go. As we do see Bombardier going down right there, but Chipper in the meantime also picking up a kill onto Dodo right there, so it actually ends up being a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Online Kingdom, and so that happened to be, for the first time in this game, I think you could say, in fact, numbers advantage for Online Kingdom, so signs alive, but again, as I was talking about just before that Malphite ultimate right there, Magic's on Forsaken Archer, not having an ideal game whatsoever, already 5 deaths on the top of a really average at best creep score, so only, really not farming too well, it definitely showing his items, of course, and with him being their carry hero, that's going to, of course, cause some problems as the game moves on. We'll see if, they mix it up a little bit, maybe send her to the top lane, get some free farm up there. In fact, she is up there right now getting the free farm, but that's something they definitely need to happen, because if she doesn't get farmed throughout this game, then there's no way they're going to win this, of course.
Yeah, it is a big hero, and it's a big responsibility, too, for all carries when you actually have him here and on. We're going off now. Magnus gets stunned. The toss actually throws the Bombardier back a little bit further. Chipper trying to get on top of it with a barrage. Ulti goes off as well, locks them all in place, but that Fissure, perfect positioning once again, just locking the Online Kingdom off here, trying to go for the stun, the big money shot there, didn't manage to bring down Chipper, a mini Magnus is still getting hit from the side, searches himself up towards the high ground, trying to escape back out of it. Behemoth comes up, smacks the Bombardier on the butt one more time, and they will retreat themselves out with no casualties from either side here, but a lot of spells flying off.
That all started off a great kit. Usually, obviously, you have to have something happen and be a great play, but in this case, it was what B-Kid didn't do right there that made it so great. We do have Fissure Stun comes out, and Hellbringer, no follow-up, though. He was just a little bit too long away, and he will survive. But again, going back to what I was just saying, he canceled his Fissure Stun when Pebbles was actually running back to him because he did not want to block his teammate. Obviously, that is a downside to that ability, and we have seen it hurt players in the past. Sticky Bomb, by the way, on Behemoth. Of course, going to explode in a couple of seconds, do a little bit of damage, but that's not going to let him worry too much. Takes the damage, and of course, still hanging around.
Yeah, he's got enough support there that he'll be quite alright. In fact, 4 heroes now ready to move out into this midsection. As, from behind, what the hey? Bombardier goes down. The Fissure has actually come through. Got Chipper as well. They're hoping for a good Valk arrow. Didn't actually hit on anything there. But now we're going off again. Hellbringer gets brought down right next to the tower. Forsaken Archer still stunned here. Going to get hit. In fact, I think it's the money shot that came from the backside. And even that leap is giving everyone even more speed on top of those striders to push on through. But 3 heroes down. Magnus and Black, the only 2 left.
Yeah, that started off obviously in an Invis rune activated on Pebbles. Went from behind like you saw. Bombardier, absolutely no chance. So despite Pebbles not necessarily being the overwhelming level advantage, he is level 8 right now, which is very good.
Oh, Magnus, what were you doing there, son? He's going to surge himself through, but Chipper's there actually to come from the side. Chu goes down. Everything's hitting the fan. The tower has just literally been obliterated into pieces, and Magnus goes just for a bit of a steam and says it's all okay.
Yeah, Legion team, though, they did get the tower, so obviously that's another good thing that happened right there for EG. But losing, Pebbles, who has been a little bit on a streak, slowing him down a little bit is obviously Online Kingdom. That's something that they can look to accomplish. But now just over the 15-minute mark, it's still a 15-7 hero kill advantage in favor of Evil Geniuses. We right now have Valkyrie porting back up to the top lane. Going to continue that Rice style strategy of just picking up the farm. And, as I was talking about earlier, right now is in fact the top farmer in the game at 280 gold per minute. You see him launching out an arrow right there. Doesn't look like it's going to hit anyone, though, so not going to make anything out of that. But, yeah, so again, the game, it seems like we have a lot of action all of a sudden, and then, a couple of minutes of just slow, and then a lot of action. So it's just really on and off game here.
Yeah, I think it's all about lane position at the moment. They want to try and hold these towers. Like, obviously, EG still have all their tier 1 towers. Wow, nothing like a mind block. Still have all the towers. Online Kingdom have only lost 1 here at the moment. As what a massive Fissure comes through. Ultimate as well. Overpower. I think Elitra got overkilled as then, but Chip's going to come up. Couple of rocket barrages. Wants to get on top of that Behemoth. He's covered in lava right now. There's even more kills happening a little bit further down. Chipper's going on it, and they should be able to cut him off at the top here. Chipper ulti, in fact, is going to be the one to do it. Malva's dropped his ulti as well, and Online Kingdom making it a 2-1. Is it going to stay level? It hasn't so far during the game. It looks like it might.
What a play right there to get that started by Pebbles. Obviously, you love to see that strategy. More so we see it, with him just using the combo in and combo his abilities. But right there we saw a great use, chucking Behemoth on top of Bombardier, allowing him to get perfect position for a Fissure Stun and then follow up with the ultimate. With that said, however, he did use an ultimate to really only take out a Bombardier. So at the same time, you got to wonder if it all truly was worth it, as again, the numbers advantage did go in.
Pebbles on the back of an Invis rune, trying to get Magnus. In fact, does actually get Magnus Magnus for the range side. Wishler comes through, push down the stun just to try and push them back a little bit. Leap comes over the top. They've managed to actually find Hellbringer running around the trees. He's a mini-me. The toss goes through once again on top of Behemoth to try and bring down Forsaken Archer. Aki's already died here in the backgrounds, and one crippling volley is a little bit too far ahead. Forsaken Archer still trying to run himself back out there, but Magix cannot escape. He will go down, and that's 3 heroes down, 19-9 here. It's the first match of the main stage. EG going up against Online Kingdom, and EG have had a cracker of a start.
You know, again, Pebbles, you expect it, especially being part of the trying to get that portal key as soon as possible. It seemed like his farm wasn't too bad, but in the end, you know, he really didn't have that great of a farm. In fact, he is being beat quite a bit by Forsaken Archer. So despite the team advantage for them, you know, and when it comes to individual farm, he definitely didn't have it. But at this point, you know, Chu being Chu, he doesn't even need that portal key. He's being so consistent on being where the team fights are. He has those striders, you know, that's good enough for the time being, and he's able to set up a good amount of kills. You already see 10 assists for him. And again, we're only 18 minutes into the game. I mean, to see a Pebbles already 10 assists as well as 3 hero kills, obviously he's been involved in pretty much everything, or at least a lot for EG, like he really always is. But that's just gonna, if you're Online Kingdom, always thinking in the back of your head, you know, he's doing this without a portal key. Now just wait and see what he gets that portal key. Heroes like Bombardier, Chipper, they're going to be running for the life.
I don't want to imagine that, dude. That's going to be very, very painful. Also, while that was actually happening, we had the T1 tower up there on the top lane for EG actually get denied as well. So a little bit less gold in the pockets here for Online Kingdom, but they do at least gain some sort of map control here. Considering only, like, well, we got one T1 tower down from either side right now. So as far as map control goes, lane positioning, it's still pretty even across the board, but 19-9, you know when EG wants to push. They can push hard and they can push fast.
Oh, yeah, they definitely can. It's hard to argue that, along with being the #1 team in the world right now, they are the most consistent team. You know, the roster, they have 6-7 players that just always play. They're on a huge, huge high level. We do have action here at the top lane, by the way. Flint Beast getting pressured up beyond the tower into the jungle. Just too much burst damage right there between the dot, the life wood as well, increasing those rocket missile damage from Chipper. So in the end, Flint Beast got a little bit overconfident right there and ends up getting taken out as a result. But in the meantime, a little bit of a bottom push incoming from EG like we just were talking about. They're going to keep the pressure on. Once they get that pressure on, they do not let their foot off the pedal. They literally just keep their foot on the pedal and just keep it going. That's why it's so one of many reasons why it's so difficult to face this team.
Yeah, I love it. It's like this bottom lane is theirs. It has never really been in contention. Even when Online Kingdom, they'll send 3, they'll send 4. I don't think they'll send 5 just yet. But they just continue to control this lane. Now the T1 tower in the bottom lane is getting brought down. Magnus is in the neighborhood, but is he actually going to try and think? Yes, he does. Lava Surge goes in right on top of Wishlayer, goes to Steam Bump, but the Hellbringer already right in front. Bombardier goes right over the top of it. Can they claim another one? Behemoth is still moving himself back here. Malva's trying to get himself in front, and well, they're all ready to have a crack here. Valk ulti goes off, giving everyone a little bit of invis, a little bit of time to breathe here. Malva's still moving himself around. The invis will only last for about 5 seconds before it comes back up again, but they're still going. Fiji goes from the side, as Magnus really got caught in the side there. Malva's, he won't be able to bring down the Behemoth, who's TPing himself straight back out again. Valk comes through, tries to get right on top. They're on the back of Hellbringer. Chipper right from the side, finds in a couple of rockets, try and push back past the tier 2 tower. The call of Valk goes down, only damages the creep wave. They're falling themselves back, but Online Kingdom with 2 casualties still on the side.
Unbelievable right there. I mean, again, B-Kid, he's so good at escaping. Great team support and was able to get away in the end. Obviously, the Valkyrie ultimate had a lot to do with that, but great positioning in the jungle, and then just overall great support, like I said. Malphus did perhaps have the chance to kill him, to be honest, but Hellbringer was busy running away from all those heroes, so you ultimately can't necessarily blame Ake for not microing right there and trying to finish off Behemoth. But Flame Breath, if he was able to use that, may have gotten the kill, but either was on cooldown or, like I said, he was busy running away and trying to save his own life, which he ended up doing. So in the end, ends up being fair with that said. But in the meantime, Flint Beastwood, again, pushing the middle lane. In terms of items that he has, he actually just picked up a Mighty Blade, as we can see, so really curious. So more than likely going to be the Ice Brand. We see that a lot on a hero like Flint Beastwood. It goes the Frostburn, and then eventually splits it up into a Frostless Skull and the Geometer's Bane in the late game.
Yeah, it's... Oh, here we go. Pebbles finally comes out of the invis. Oh, he's been watching Overpower for so long. Wishlight actually gets the stun off here in Hellbringer. Miniaturized as well. It's not enough to actually do it the ulti trying, but in comes Pebbles from the side again. You can't stop him. Black comes through. Chipper drops the ulti. The Fidget's holding everyone out of place as well. Try to run himself back out there, but the Valk lead comes over the top. Dodo gets a double tap as well, and 4 heroes go down. Magnus trying to surge himself back out, but Pebbles just has a quick toss, gets the hat trick, and pulls the bunny, as well as all the scalps here of Online Kingdom out of the hat.
Great job right there from EG once again. Just overall great team support. But like you stated, Shu, just unbelievable play right there. You know, it looked like he was running away after the Invision, after opening. He waited for his cooldowns. He came right back in with the portal key. Fissure Stun was right on top of him as well. And sure enough, able to clean up the Hellborn team. And now going to push this secondary tower as well. Will get the tower kill. Bombardier maybe trying to deny it, but not going to happen. Also, Nero coming out, hitting a creep wave, unfortunately. But again, the foot is on the pedal right now for this Legion team, for EG, and they are not going to slow it down. Like we talked about earlier, Pebbles now with that portal key. Heroes honestly, every hero on the Hellborn team needs to be pretty worried. I mean, their most efficient hero in terms of life right now is Forsaken Archer, and it really isn't that much.
Nah, Forsaken Archer has been crippled the entire time, and like a genocide is something which really does hurt. Not only does it take your gold, takes your XP, it gives so much more to EG as well. They got everything going for them right now. They need to finish it, though. It is always the hardest part whenever you play a game of On to get yourself in there and take out the racks.
Yeah.
You can literally shut up shop, you can turtle it up, and it's very, very hard to push yourself out here.
Yeah.
But EG, they've got the initiation, they've got everything going for them right now. But if they can just make that final hurdle, then this game is theirs.
Oh yeah, no doubt. As by the way, Magnus. Oh, one more auto tech. What a done, but that Chuck from Pebbles. He comes in with a portal key, and Chuck's beacon right on top of him, playing Behemoth, and Magnus goes down. So again, Semi-Ju, a good attempt right there to get away. Not going to happen though. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Flint Beastwood in a little bit of trouble. Out comes the oil spill from Chipper after the dot and Lifefoot combination. Here comes the Rockets now. The Rocket Barrage on top of the Chipper ultimate, and Flint Beastwood is not going to get away. He goes down, but now back at the bottom lane. It looks like we see Forsaken Archer for her 9th death of the game already, going down again there, and I'm sure Chu had a lot to do with that. Fuji Apples, though, actually getting credit for the kill, but again, just solid play and going to push this tower. So in the end, really a 3-for-1 exchange. Now a 28-13 hero kill advantage for EG. Like you said, though, the barracks are, as long as they have the barracks up, I'm a fan of that too. You should never think a game is 100% over. Oh my God, portal key right there again. We're seeing Behemoth on top of that, also showing that he has a portal key. And that is another very dangerous thing for Online Kingdom.
I just love the fact that EG have 3 of possibly the best initiators in the game. Through the Behemoth Fissure, through the Pebbles now, a portal key stun he can pull off, and then you also throw in the Valk Arrow. It is just so much damage that he can pump out and get that initiation off. Magnus walks straight in the middle of it, even pops up the ulti from Hellbringer. They weren't ready for that one. Turns around, Valk goes down. Magnus does also take the fall, but it's also dying right on the sides. Trying to push them back as Witchslayer also does get himself caught out there. Malphus, a 2-for-2 exchange actually comes off here, and it looks like EG does not want a piece of this pie.
Yeah, they thought about going in right there as we saw the Valkyrie ultimate going off, going for the strong initiation, but in the end, of course, did not happen. For a second, there's a follow-up from Pebbles. He chucks him back to his teammates, and the auto attack between Flint Beast and Behemoth, of course, for the kill. Beacon actually getting credit right there. Now a 5-3 and 15 creep score for him. So 15 assists for him, 16 assists for Pebbles on top of 8 kills. I mean, them two especially, both so Behemoth and Pebbles right now really doing so much for Evil Geniuses. And coming into this game again, like we talked about, Evil Geniuses, they got in early this morning. I don't believe they got any practice, unlike a lot of the other teams, if not all the other teams. And being a LAN environment, you know, you kind of wonder how they were going to come out of it, how they're going to come out the gates. It just so happened they got matched up against Online Kingdom. We talked about that earlier as their game one. I mean, you could definitely, put it this way, if they were coming off a little bit, you know, kind of scratchy and maybe a little bit off, then you would kind of expect it. But at the same time, they're not. Absolutely not. They're playing on a high tier level like they always do. And right now, you know, have at this point, what seems to be an overwhelming advantage. Yeah,
it definitely is, because you're right. They've just come off a plan. We did have a words to them before they actually started the match, and they felt good. Like, they didn't really feel bad before it. And, we're ready to play. We're ready to win. You don't need much more than this, bar us just turning up. But you're used to playing when you're actually feeling a little bit down. Like, obviously, all home players will always play till all hours in the morning. It's just the style. It's the style of the game. Yeah, and they've conditioned themselves. They're playing beautifully. And EG, they still have to finish it off a little bit. They haven't pushed themselves through. But at the moment, I think it's more about just the tier 2 towers, get them down, then they can push through the tier 3, and the racks become exposed.
Well, yeah, we were talking about, like we said, we did some interviews in the pregame or before this, before today, and even earlier today. Talking to B-Kid from EG, and he's really confident as always. As really is the whole team. I mean, really everyone on their team, they're so confident that they're going to come in here and win this tournament.
Valk Arrow right in front of the nose of Bombardier, but the fissure will come through. It'll do it but Wishlighter Stun comes straight through. Bombardier does go take a fall, and there goes the money shot just to bring down Forsaken Archer a little bit and use that remaining mana that Flint Beast would actually had left in him. Now they can push that tower with 2 heroes down. Actually just having a little bit more action. Tiny gets himself caught out right now. The ultimate from Valk does actually pull off, but will they be able to keep him off at the moment? He's still doing a bit of damage. Behemoth's in the middle of it right now. They catch up to Chipper. He gets done from afar, and now Valkyrie comes in, finishes off the job. Hellbringer doing whatever he can, but he gets blasted from the side. Magmus goes Eruption, tries to have a crack here, gets held in place. Steambath goes out, but one long-range stun there from Pebbles is more than enough to bring him down, and the Genocide does come off there with it is overpowered Bombardier respawning while all the rest of his teammates were dying in the process.
Again, EG, just showing their Team 5 potential. Like I talked about earlier, we saw Behemoth, survive after some crazy circumstances. Right there, it's all about Pebbles. How he survived that, I still have no clue. We have to go back to the replay and check that one out. But just great team support. And wow, there we go. The concede goes out. The game is over. A 27-minute concede victory for Evil Geniuses here in Game 1 against Online Kingdom. Wow.
Well, what a play. Like, you wouldn't expect that for EG to come here and just be that powerful. And Online Kingdom, they are no mugs. They are definitely an awesome team as well. But EG, they're just showing why they are labelled as the best team in all of Heroes of New Earth at the moment.
Yeah, it's it's so difficult to say that they're not, because again, it's a lot of people get on me that say I'm just a fanboy and I just say too much about them. But we just saw again right here. It's hard to argue that they are the #1 team. But this is a long event. This is just the first game. Like I said, it happened to be arguably the best matchup out of the whole round robin stage, depending on who you're talking to. But at the same token, it's a long event ahead of us. With this victory, yes, EG puts themselves in a really good spot to move on to the next round. But with that said, it's still going to be a hell of a tournament. We got the semifinals and the finals tomorrow after this long round-robin event today. So there's still a lot on the line, and looking forward to the continuation of today.
That's right. It will be cool. We will have more matches up here on the main stage sometime very, very soon. We'll let you know what it is, and we'll be back.
We will be back.